Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. I'm your host, the Fellow KGB, and tonight it is Thursday evening, March 18th. It's about 6 p.m. Central Time. We're just going to be hanging out, Thursday night hangout. We'll answer questions in the chat room. We'll kind of just look at some things. I'm going to pull up a screen share right now. I'll kind of review my watch list that we had from the waiver wire show earlier this week. And yeah, we're just going to kind of hop around. We'll check out the news and just see what's going on in the NBA. Let me pull up another tab here. I just want to look at a couple things here. We'll look at the NBA standings. Let's see here. But first, I guess maybe we'll just read some of these headlines here. Is nothing too crazy here, but no DeMar DeRozan tomorrow night. Personal reason, he will not play Friday. There were some good reports here on DeAndre Hunter, who we didn't expect him to be back this early, but Nate McMillan expects DeAndre Hunter to return at some point during Atlanta's upcoming 8-game road trip. So there was rumors that he could potentially play tonight, but they're holding him out one more day. But they have an 8-game road trip coming up, so we'll see if he can get back into the lineup. I'm curious. Let's just take a look and see how many people are owning Mr. Hunter here. And DeAndre Hunter, I don't know if we're going to expect him to return to form as what he was doing earlier this year, but he's about 42% owned. He was averaging 29.5 points per game, almost 30 there. So I wouldn't expect that out of the gate right away, but if he clears the first couple hurdles and looks good, this is a guy that you want to probably add to your watch list, and we'll just see if he can increase his workload later. Let's keep looking around for some more news here. I'm just looking for more injury news and some pieces here. Michael Carter-Williams won't play tonight. Evan Fournier is starting. Terrence Ross, still a game-time decision. Steve Clifford says he will try to play, so Terrence Ross has been kind of in and out lately. Let's see here. And McLemore. Tristan Thompson won't play Friday against the Kings for protocol. This is assuming that's just COVID protocol there. Wayne Ellington ruled out for tomorrow night. Hamidou Diallo will not play tomorrow night for the Detroit Pistons. Let's see what else we can find here. Trevor Ariza is being out for tomorrow night's game. Mo Harkless not on the injury report. Taurean Prince will not suit up tomorrow night. Kevin Love's been ruled out for tomorrow night. I'm trying to think. There's nothing too crazy in the NBA going on right now. We still need some confirmation on some of our stars. But everything else is looking pretty good. OG Anunoby's been out for a while. He's not listed on the injury report, which is really good. He's been on the COVID list for a long time. So it looks like tomorrow night, OG Anunoby's going to be firing it up for the Raptors. Let me just take a look and see. OG, he might have dipped a little bit in ownership. Oh, wow, he's down to 60% ownership. So if you're watching this and you're able to get him before Friday night, that would be a nice snag there. He's averaging 28 points per game. He hasn't played since February 26th, so people were kind of dumping him quickly. But this is kind of what you get out of OG Anunoby. He's really consistent. He's got a high floor, 17 to 20 points. And this isn't even his best stretch of games, too, so he's a lot better player than those points suggest. So OG Anunoby returning tomorrow night, only 60% owned. Definitely try to see if you can get him in a 10 or a 12-man league. Let's see what other news we can find here. We're just trying to be ahead of some things. Kyrie Irving's probable tomorrow night. Kelly Oubre is doubtful with the foot injury tomorrow night. He got kicked in the foot during Wednesday night's game and didn't practice on Thursday. It's not a serious injury, but it got worse overnight. So it sounds like no Oubre, no Steph Curry, James Wiseman, and Eric Pascal. So, big Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green night. Let's take a look. Let me just take a look and see what the Warriors, if you wanted to snag a guy for the Warriors game. We go to team. We'll go to, where's Golden State? Why can't I see that? Yes, there we go. Let's take a look and see who just might be worth a pickup here. We'll filter by the last 7 days. What's going on, Rudolphs, man? Thanks for hanging out tonight. Fire up any questions you've got. We can get to them. Happy Thursday to everybody if you're just joining the stream. But Stephen Curry, Kelly Oubre, James Wiseman, and Eric Pascal all are going to be out probably tomorrow night and maybe a little bit longer. So I'm trying to figure out who on the Golden State Warriors that we could rely on. Of course, Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins are going to be the top guys here. But this Jordan Poole, He's been playing very well lately. He hasn't played much this season, just the last 5 games here, though. He's averaging, a steady maybe 22 points per game here. On the low end, he's gotten a 15 and a 22.5. You see the 23. These look like pretty good numbers. So if they're going to be down Curry, Oubre, Wiseman, and Pascal, I know he's a shooting guard, but there's going to be more minutes available for a guy like Jordan Poole, who only 4% owned. That would be one that excites me a little bit there. He's technically their 4th best fantasy player over the last 7 days. So I like that quite a bit. Maybe we see some more run from the rookie Nico Mannion here. Not a super high floor. This is more deep leagues. I'm thinking maybe 14-team leagues plus, maybe a 12-team if you want to just get a guy for the night. But he's interesting. He's going to get more minutes as the time goes on. Maybe Kayvon Looney. He could be an interesting guy there. But some interesting names. But yeah, Golden State. No Curry, no Oubre, Wiseman, or Pascal here. What's going on, Kevin? Check out my kind of Top Shot. Let's see here. Do you want me to go to evaluate.market, or what should we? Let's go evaluate the top. I tried getting the Top Shot pack today, but the site decided to crash today. Let's take a look at this. So Destinites. All right. Ooh, you got a nice LeBron James 3-pointer here. I like the Dejounte Murray one. It's probably a good moment, I would bet. Yeah, under 400 limited edition. You got a Ja Morant, Trae Young. The San Merrill one's kind of nice. I think I got that Donovan Mitchell. I might have that Donovan Mitchell one as well. Jimmy Butler, Dennis Schroeder, some good names. John Collins, Mike Conley. This is solid. Getting a lot of good packs here. How many cards? You got 15 total moments. This is solid. This is really solid here. I want more moments. Everybody wants more moments, but man, you got gifted with that LeBron James one, so that's well done, man. So Rudolph's got a free roster spot tonight. Should I pick up Herter or Ross for tonight's game? So it sounded like Ross was going to play. The problem with him is he's so streaky. I think I would be more comfortable telling you to play Kevin Herter if he's available. The last time he played Oklahoma City Thunder, this was in OKC. He had 35 minutes, but 15 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. That seems like a pretty safe bet to me there. And then with Terrence Ross here, let me actually compare the two here. I'm like one of the biggest Terrence Ross fans, but I think in terms of making sure you get the highest floor, I think I'm going to say Kevin Herter is probably the higher floor. So let's just see what Terrence Ross, the boss, has been doing. So these have been some monster games here. So technically, Terrence Ross has the higher floor. If you're feeling risky, I would play Terrence Ross here. It's against the Knicks, so that doesn't scare me too much. But he's been playing really good ball all February here. So you're gonna risk getting a 14 or 22. But I feel kind of comfortable with Terrence Ross. So if he gets the all clear to play tonight, has he been? So yeah, this just came through. He will play against the Knicks. Some right knee soreness. I'm gonna say Terrence Ross if you can afford a little bit of a ceiling there. Otherwise, they're both great plays. Oklahoma City Thunder again. He played him down here. I'm gonna go with Terrence Ross. I like Ross more, but I'm like Kevin Herter. These are both great options for just one night. So either way, you shoot for 25, 30 points. I think Terrence Ross though is probably the guy that's got the highest ceiling. So that's what I would go with. Thanks guys for the questions. Keep firing up questions. We're here for I don't know. I might not go a full hour tonight. I'll probably go maybe 30 or 40 minutes. But I did want to I wanted to check out the watch list because we do the waiver wire show every Monday or Sunday night. So I just want to see how this watch list has been performing for us. So last 7 days here, we're looking at the averages. Robert Williams, again, Tristan Thompson's being held out tomorrow night. So this guy needs to be owned. You see, he's only 47.6% owned. And you just look at the stats from this guy. He's got a 51-pointer, a 42-pointer, just super steady the last 6 games or so. And the minutes are starting to trickle upwards and be more consistent. One thing that I like to look at is when I'm looking at a guy, I see the season stats, and then they're going to show you the last 7-day stats here, and all of his numbers are up across the board. You see about maybe 5 more minutes per game, roughly 4 more points, maybe 3.5 more rebounds, 1 more assist per game. Steals are about the same, but look at the blocks too. He's averaging 2 more blocks per game. So this is a guy we've been kind of talking about for a while on the show, Robert Williams. He's a guy especially with Tristan Thompson on the COVID protocols right now. This might be a hold for us here. He's got the low floor of 10, 15, 16 points, but as long as Tristan Thompson's out, I do think, man, Robert Williams looks really good right now. We'll talk about Kevin Porter Jr. in a second. I just want to see what's going on here. We made a risky trade. We got Dame Lillard, Drummond, Grant, and you sent Beal, Bam, Conley. It's risky because we don't know anything about Drummond yet, but I mean Lillard's probably the best player. Lillard and Beal are equal, I would say. But you got Jeremy Grant, which is super solid. I don't know, man. This seems like it seems pretty even to me, assuming Drummond gets in a healthy spot here. So I think that can pay off. Maybe not right now, but long term that should. What's going on, Matt Bame? We got wine tonight. We got wine. Matt Bame tried trading me today. He tried trading me Luka, or he wanted to get Luka. Tried trading me, what was it? Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis. I had to think about it. It's a really good 2-for-1. But yeah, man, it's just kind of what Rudolph was saying. Like it's risky because we don't know anything about Drummond, but what is Drummond's best case scenario is like maybe he gets let go. They just eat that money and then let him sign wherever he wants. I think teams would be chomping at the bit to get an Andre Drummond. I just keep thinking a team like Toronto needs a center to put them over the top. There's a handful of other teams that could use it. But if Drummond does get to go somewhere and he's let go, man, he could be, I don't know, back to what we expected him to be in the beginning of the year. So I like Drummond quite a bit, but we're just looking at the watch list here. This is what we put out for, I think it was Monday night for the waiver wire show. And Kevin Porter Jr., I think by now everyone knows, like he is fantastic. He's almost 75% owned. Just look at his last 5 games here. Just one kind of so-so game, but if that's his floor of 20 points, I'm totally cool with running this out there. But with the Rockets, a lot of moving going on, a lot of moving parts. 42, 46, 47, 40. 4 out of 5 games, he's over 40 points. So we're feeling pretty good here. Man, Kevin Porter Jr., hopefully you guys are able to get on there. And yeah, I think best case too I think best case for sure is Toronto. Let's see if anybody else kind of sticks out. I mean, as far as teams competing, Toronto makes the most sense. I don't think Drummond would want to go anywhere below here. If Drummond goes to the West, I don't know. Maybe San Antonio. That could help them out. Golden State would be kind of sick. What about Golden State? Get Drummond out there. That could be a really good fit. I could see that being something that he would be interested in. But I think Drummond's probably going to end up going to a team that is like on the fringe of the playoffs. Otherwise, he's going to end up like in LA or Brooklyn or one of the top-notch teams here. That would suck. If he goes to Brooklyn, that's not even fair. They're starting like an all-star squad. So I don't know. We'll see. When's that NBA trade deadline? I believe it's next week. Thursday, 10 days. What's going on here? Trade deadline date. What is the actual date here? Looks like next Thursday, March 25th. Did you guys see the Bucks trade, the PJ Tucker trade last night? I think that might be the only move here. So Milwaukee Bucks acquired PJ Tucker, and this was really good, I think, for both sides. The Bucks didn't have to give up too much, and they get a quality veteran shooter here. So the Bucks get PJ Tucker. The Bucks are sending DJ Augustin, DJ Wilson, kind of like a G League type player here. And let's see here. Just some draft picks kind of moving around here, so nothing too crazy, but pretty good deal there for Milwaukee. PJ Tucker. Well, it would just be for depth if they wanted to get James Wiseman's a really good player as well, but maybe, I don't know, Drummond could really help them. I like that, but they don't have a lot of depth there either. So it does kind of, any team that just wants a starting center or even a backup center, I think most teams are going to want a backup center, but I could just see that kind of putting them over the top. And then maybe they move Wiseman to, maybe they go both big guys at 4 or 5. That would be kind of wild. Get 2 big studs in there. Dallas Mavericks, that'd be interesting to see what they do with Porzingis and Drummond. I kind of like San Antonio, though, for Drummond. I think that one could work. I don't know, the Lakers? Like, the Lakers don't have a need for it, but I don't know. Interesting. There's not too like Drummond, obviously, he wants to play for a contender, so that's why I keep coming back to Toronto, a team that's kinda on the fringe. Maybe Chicago? Chicago, I know they got a couple, young players, but Chicago makes a little bit of sense. And yeah, there should be a lot of shifting going on next Thursday, or potential guys that maybe just get let go from their team if they can't find a trading partner. So next Thursday night, hopefully we'll have a lot more juicy stuff to report for you guys. I'm just kind of looking around for any other things here that made sense to talk about. Just a lot of ins and outs, I think here. But just looking at the watch list, we kind of talked about Robert Williams, Kevin Porter Jr., Terrence Ross. What's Will Barton doing? He's averaging almost 34 points per game the last 7 days. He's only 40% owned. Look at these numbers from Will Barton here. This is a guy that needs to be in a 10 or 12 man league. I think this needs to be owned. You see 28, 42, 31, 34, 22, 34. The minutes are fantastic, super consistent. You look at his and look at this. Look at his last 7 days compared to his season stats. Everything is. I mean, this is a huge one. He's averaging almost 10 more points per game in that span. Almost 4 more minutes. About the same in rebounds. About the same in assists. A little bit, almost half a steal more. This is interesting. Will Barton's playing some really good minutes over there for the Denver Nuggets. Only 40% owned. What about Rui Hachimura, who's up to 33.7 points per game the last 7 days? So they just tipped off. I guess, yeah, we just got some tip-offs going right now. We got Washington versus Utah. But Rui Hachimura put up a 50-burger against Milwaukee the other day. 29 real points, 22, 17. Starting to round it together here. 32, 38, 50. This is a player who needs to be owned. He was kind of struggling for a little stretch here, but this is looking really good. Rui Hachimura, 53% owned. Brook Lopez is the guy that continues to be criminally under-owned, under 60%, so he's probably like a fringe guy in a 10-man league here. But I admire the consistency, really consistent minutes per game here. And the points have been there as well. So Brook Lopez needs to be owned. What is LaMelo's ceiling? I mean, LaMelo's, he's got potential face of the NBA, written all over him. Let me pull up LaMelo's numbers here. And it's interesting because it's Charlotte. Charlotte's never really had a big media following, but I can guarantee. Let me look and see where the Charlotte Hornets in terms of the playoffs here. Because if they make the playoffs, LaMelo's going to get a lot of attention in those games. So they're sitting at the 5 seed, man. And this is pretty impressive. They have a really deep team right now. So I think the ceiling for this guy, the fact that he's coming out here and just blowing everyone's expectations away, like. We don't know. Like, I don't think the ceiling exists yet. I think this could be, in a year or two, he could be, one of the faces of the league, top 5 player, maybe top 3. So I don't know. I like his development. The shooting is what's impressed me the most here. I expected him to be a good ball handler and kind of facilitator, but the scoring, when he goes off for a lot of these 20s and these 30s. So I really like LaMelo. I think he's just kind of scratching the surface right now. He's so young. There's so much to like here in terms of season for fantasy value. Well, I mean, he's 99% owned. So like if you're trying to trade for him, I'd be willing to take, if we look here, he's averaging 34 points per game on the season. So if you filter by the last 7 days, he's kind of down. So this might be the time to do it. He's averaging about 29 the last 7 days. Over the last 15, he's about 30. Last 30 days, about 36. So he's kind of on this downtrend right now, which is interesting. He's got a 60-point game in there. So this might be maybe the owner's a little bit frustrated. Maybe this might be the time. His minutes have been kind of down too. You see 22, 25. I think that's because of a healthy Devontae Graham. So this might be the time to trade for him. If you can get someone that is around these fantasy points per game, I'm willing to do it. I don't think he's still a rookie. I don't know if we need to go get LaMelo. I think he's got. He deserves to be owned, in pretty much any league. So he's definitely got a lot of value. So we picked him up from free agents when he wasn't not doing great. So yeah, man, if you if you were like, when did you get him? Like that had to be maybe a couple months ago, maybe in January when it was kind of like a rocky start. But in terms of value, like he's like the top 10 point guard. So I mean, if you want to move him, I wouldn't. If I own LaMelo, I'm not trying to move him. The only way I move him is if he goes off for like another 60 or some massive game, and you try to capitalize on that one big game, and maybe you can kind of pull back someone who averages 35, 36, 37 points per game. But I'm just kind of weird seeing the minutes like that lately. Let's actually pull up Charlotte real quick. So we're just filtering by the last 7 days. So Charlotte's best player, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, LaMelo Ball, still right there. I want to filter by minutes, actually. So LaMelo is getting the 4th most minutes on that team. I think it's because Devontae Graham has been back and kind of messing things up. Malik Monk is healthy, too. So the Hornets are kind of deep. They play almost 9 guys regularly. So I like LaMelo, but they're not going to be, because they got Rozier and Devontae Graham, we're not going to see a heavy volume every night out of LaMelo. So I mean, you got to hold on to him, but if someone comes calling and you can get someone that's averaging roughly the same or more, I think I'm okay with doing it. LaMelo is going to be one of those, like, he's going to be a phenomenal player. He's going to be one of those high draft picks, I think, next year in fantasy basketball. But if you can capitalize on maybe he goes out there and he drops a triple-double or anything crazy, maybe he gets hot, maybe that's worth keeping on. But just because he's kind of a hot young name right now, he might be able to kind of get more value than what he's actually worth for fantasy. So that's kind of interesting. Let me get back to our watch list and see if we can point out any more players here. Last 7 days, let's filter by fantasy points. So we covered those guys. Josh Richardson's playing really good ball right now. Wow. Josh Richardson, how much owned? He's only 58% owned, so he's probably owned in most leagues, but this is really good consistency here. I love the minutes, too. His season averages are all points and rebounds. I guess the points are up, the minutes are up. Everything else is kind of similar here, but the steals and blocks are up as well. Ricky Rubio, what did we hear on D'Angelo Russell? Let me pull Russell up. I thought I heard a news blurb from him yesterday. So this was from March 10th. He was expected to rejoin the Timberwolves on Friday and could participate in on-court activities this weekend. Let me just do a little Google search here. When is Russell coming back? Oh, a lot of trade rumors around. A lot of trade rumors around D'Angelo Russell. So yeah, that's really all I'm finding here. So he's coming back soon. I mean, hopefully by April at the latest. So D'Angelo Russell will be back. So I guess we were just looking at Ricky Rubio. So Ricky Rubio might be a guy worth trading if you have him, because his value is going to collapse when Russell comes back. I guess the only way it stays with value is if Russell gets traded. So Dante DiVincenzo is the next guy on the list. He's actually been, like, I watched the Bucks game last night that went to overtime. He's been really impressive lately. I see 45 points last night against Philly, 29, 30, 25. Some lulls every now and then, 17 and 12, but I think this is a player that needs to be owned. Averaging almost 24 points per game on the season, but 33 the last 7 days here. So last thoughts on Brown. I got him in a trade like 2 weeks ago, and gotta be honest, he hasn't been doing yes, a lot of trades. So are you talking Jaylen Brown? That's who I'm thinking you're talking about. Let's take a look at Jaylen Brown. The Celtics haven't really been playing very good, man. I mean, they're 5-5 their last 10 days. They've been kind of down. But we look at here. Actually, let's filter by Boston. I'm assuming you're talking about Jaylen Brown here. So Jaylen Brown last 7 days, he's averaging almost 40 points per game here. Is this what you're talking about? Or is there another Brown here that I missed? Could it be anybody else? It's got to be Jaylen here. I don't know, man. The last 2 games, you're getting 49 points out of Jaylen Brown. It depends who did you trade to get Jaylen Brown? That I'd be interested in hearing that. But ever since the All-Star break fired back up, the 34, a 26, a 49, and a 49, that's going to even out as long as he keeps, hitting almost upper 40s and almost a 50 every now and then. I think we're going to be in good shape. You just can't have these games where he's, getting only 13 real points, not chipping in elsewhere here. But I don't know. The Celtics are not playing good ball right now. What have they been up to? Who they've been losing to? Let's see here. That would be the last. They lost to the Cavs last night by 7. Jazz, that's understandable. They beat the Rockets, lose to the Nets, it's understandable. 4-game win streak here, but then a 3-game losing streak against the Hawks, the Mavs, and the Pelicans. But this is concerning. They can't lose to the Cavaliers if they want to be going anywhere. So I went panic on Jaylen Brown just yet, especially as they do not want to be a 7 seed right now. That currently means they're locked up against the Nets, and they're literally a game and a half out of 4th. So they're going to be, I don't know, they should be motivated to get to the 4-5 matchup and potentially play the Heat or the Hornets or something like that. But it's looking like that's where the Celtics will want to settle in by the end of the show here. What's going on, Lucius? How's it going? So we got DeAndre Hunter in my IR spot, and we have to cut somebody in a points league. Who would have to go, Robert Covington or Kelly Oubre? Also, Moses Brown is still on waivers in my league. Moses Brown. Let's take a look at Moses Brown. Moses Brown. So putting up some numbers the last 4 games here. He's still kicking it, huh? That's tough. So the thing with DeAndre Hunter is I think it's going to take some time. I wouldn't expect him to come out and just get 20 plus minutes right away. He might get a 15-minute game or even a 10 minutes, to get him back into the mix of things. So I do think holding on to DeAndre Hunter is a good idea. But I'd also be open to trading him if I could. I like Moses Brown quite a bit right now. Let me just check him. We're going to add Robert Covington. I might have a hard time cutting Covington. He's been pretty consistent. And then Oubre. Oubre's got the foot injury right now. Oubre's kind of had a disappointing season. Let me just filter by the last 30. But over the last 30 days, it looks like Oubre's numbers, especially after the All-Star break, these look like numbers you could pick up off the waiver wire, right? And with that foot injury, I don't know. I don't want to be missing out on. He had this nice run of 40s. I think that's kind of what you're clinging on to and hoping that he can get back to this high scoring volume. And we don't really know much about Curry's injury yet, do we? Let me just pull Curry up. He's doubtful for Friday's game. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure when we're getting Curry back, but I don't know if I need to pull up Hunter. Especially if Oubre is hopefully, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hold on to DeAndre Hunter. If it gets to the point where Oubre gets the out and he misses a couple games, 1 or 2 games with this weird foot injury, he got kicked in the foot and it got worse overnight. So there's potential Oubre could miss a couple games, which would give him, the out, which you can move him then to the IR. So as long as Hunter's not playing, which he's not playing tonight, I don't know when their road games. I think maybe Saturday they pick up. So let's give it another day or two. If I have to, I might be, I don't know, Moses Brown, man. 17% owned. The 30 minutes is what I like. 30 minutes, 20 points, 16 rebounds. I don't think we can expect this every night. And the 5 blocks is really nice. But you're probably going to see something, in between this 13 points, 4 rebounds. I think this would be his averages, somewhere between 9 and 13 points and 4 and 10 rebounds. Kind of like this, these 24-point games. So I think he's going to settle into the 24-point range. That seems to be pretty safe to call there. But these guys are all kind of the same. If you have a gut instinct, I would trust it. But for now, I think I would hold. and especially if Kelly Oubre can get knocked out there. Otherwise, I don't know. If you need the points really bad and you do have Oubre, I wouldn't mind getting rid of Oubre and putting Moses Brown in there. But Lucius, it depends. How many wins do you have right now? Do you need to win this week, to keep, alive in the playoffs? If you need to win this week, I would move Oubre to waivers and I would pick up Moses Brown, and then we can worry about Hunter later. But it's kind of messy situation. But if you have if you got 8, 9 wins on the season and you're looking good for the playoffs, I think I would just hold and see if Oubre gets the out, because if he misses a couple games, then you can move Oubre down there. So I don't know. He's not a guy I want to cut. It's a big name, 90% owned. He's gonna get picked up really quickly. So I would tend to hold on to Robert Covington and Kelly Oubre. And then if you can trade DeAndre Hunter, I think that might be something worth exploring. So it's kind of a long, messy answer, but I hope that helped. That you can ask more questions if you need to. But Rudolph says the trade is bad, but I had to do it. It was getting a domino effect where I had to get a specific player. Jarrett for Wood, Porzingis, and Booker. So you ended up getting Paul George, Jarrett Allen, and Jaylen Brown. Saying Christian Wood, Porzingis, and Booker. I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't hate it. It looks like, yeah, you did pretty well. And then you flipped Bam and Beal for – okay. Yeah, so you were able to finagle it and kind of get out of a bad situation there. So I think you did fine. And to be honest, like this trade, like if that's the starting pack, it looks very even. When's the last time we've seen Christian Wood play? Christian Wood up to these days? So he just played his first game last night. So he's back, but he missed so much time here. So whoever ended up sitting on Wood. So hopefully you guys are still sitting on Christian Wood if you got him. He's going to have a lot of say in leagues down the stretch here. But just looking around. If you guys have any more questions, keep firing them up. I'll probably hang out another 5 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes. I kind of want to just look around and see if I can find any players here. That Moses Brown, man. To be honest, that was the first time I've seen Moses Brown. We're going to click off compare. So we're filtering by the last 7 days. No need, man. Just subscribe, like the video. I appreciate that. But that's awesome. We got the fantasy football championship, and now we're gunning for that fantasy basketball one. So that's awesome, man. That makes me happy. Thank you so much for tuning in and commenting. I appreciate all you guys. That's really cool. That's what we're trying to do here. Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. Was Horford out? So what's up with Al Horford? Was he just kind of getting some veteran nights off? So he's missed 3 games in a row. This is just veteran rest here too. What if Al Horford gets traded before the trade deadline, and then that would allow more Moses minutes? That could. I mean, he's Al Horford's a quality veteran, and he's kind of just wasting away on Oklahoma City Thunder this year. I mean, they're like 4.5 games back from the 8th seed. It would make sense to maybe think about moving Al Horford if I were the Thunder. But so Moses kind of feels like a trap. When do they play next? They play tonight. We don't have an update on tonight yet. Let's actually take a look and see. Oklahoma, that game hasn't tipped off yet. It tips off pretty soon here, though. But it looks like Horford's not on the injury report. So maybe Moses, okay, so here's the call. If Al Horford gets moved, or if Al Horford's been ruled out, Moses might be your guy there, Moses Brown. We'll look at him real quick. What's going on here? So, Emmett, have a good night. We'll see you in another one, Rudolph. Thanks for hanging out, man. Peace. But yeah, this is something to keep an eye on. We're gonna add him to the watch list for sure. And again, just any game that Al Horford's going to be out, this is going to be one that we're going to want to watch for. And again, if anything happens, injury or if he gets moved, that's going to be colossal. So I love looking at Oklahoma City's list of players here. Let's filter by the last 7 days, and we'll look at all available here. So Oklahoma City Thunder's best player, it's been Al Horford over the last 7 days. SGA, 33.1. Technically, Horford's only played 2 games in the last 7 days, so that's why his average is so high. But Svi Mihalik, Hasn't played in a while. He hasn't played yet for these guys. So he's making his Thunder debut tonight. This might be kind of fun to watch then. We had a game tipping off between Atlanta and OKC pretty soon. I don't know if that game's on TV any. It doesn't look like it's on TV. No TV games tonight. It just says NBA TV. I'll have to check my local stuff. But this is one to definitely keep an eye on. He's less than 1% owned. But you could see right before the All-Star break is when he got some minutes for Detroit, 23, and then a 32 right after the All-Star break game. So this is a very productive player. Again, Oklahoma City Thunder, they got nothing to lose. We might see him get a lot of play time down the stretch. So I'm interested in checking out McCulloch here. And then Alexej. There's so many tough names here, but he kind of disappointed the other night after his big 43-point game. So he's going to be inconsistent. It wouldn't surprise me tonight if that's his night. But Oklahoma's they just got so many players that could just go off at random times. Lou Dort hasn't played. He is available tonight, so we'll watch that. We'll see Ty Jerome, Kenrick Williams, Isaiah Roby. I mean, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They got 9 guys averaging over 20 fantasy points per game over the last 7 days. So, and then George Hill's not even a part of that. So that's kind of interesting. But I don't know. I think that's going to do it for tonight's stream, though. I got some things I got to take care of tonight. I'm going to be out of town this weekend, so I won't have anything for you guys tomorrow night or over the weekend. Maybe Sunday night. Maybe Sunday night we'll hang out. But I don't know. I think that's going to do it for tonight's Thursday night hangout. I appreciate you guys in the chat room. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Let's grow this. And we're trying to hit that the 300 goal back there. So I don't know. That's going to do it for me. Have a good evening. We'll see you guys in another video. Thanks. Peace.